Hi everyone, and welcome to this guided meditation with me, Espen Haugen. So, reading from the law of attraction, continuously moving forward. So good to be here, and so good to have you all here too. It's so good to come together for co-create with ourselves and co-create with each other, and flowing forward, understanding the words coming through, feeling the words coming through, understanding it and knowing it, and then moving forward. And things that feels more easy, gentle, and general, more and more and more. And better it feels, better it gets. So this is fun. So this is how I feel for myself when I'm reading all of these books with Esther and Hicks. That it's just energy comes through and a clarification and vibration to feel better and better. And then I just like, oh, this feels good. Oh, this feels good. Oh, this feels good. And then it's just like, oh, this feels good. And it's like, oh, now I understand that part. Oh, no, I understand that. Oh, that now I have clarification and more. And when you are clarifying and you're having an understanding or you're feeling the energy comes through, then it's ease up everything. It's ease up all of this resistance to what is. And when it's ease up all of the resistance to what is, then you become more of the allowingness of who you truly are. And when you become more of the allowingness of who you truly are, you feel better and better and better, and better it feels, and better it gets. And then it's momentum, just like continuously moving forward to become more and more and more and more. Because there's an endless universe, there is no limitation, there's unlimited of potential for feeling good now and better and better and better and better and better and better. And there is no end in that. And that's very funny, and it's very freeing to feel that it's like, oh, it's just moving forward. So good. So happy beautiful day, Jen, and happy beautiful day, Scott. So good to have you here. So yeah, let's read. It was fun. So we are now, on page 173. Is it that? Let's see. Yeah, I will read from 172. Still, if I had read it from yesterday, I will read it. Start from there. It's good. It's very good. So, yes. So, how can I consciously begin feeling happy? Jerry, I heard you suggest that we get to the point of feeling happy before we begin intending something. Would you give us some different ways of consciously generating the feeling of joy or of bringing forth the feeling of positive emotion? Abraham, before we do that, we want to point out the great value in your being happy. You are like magnets, and the way you feel is your point of attraction. And so, if you are feeling unhappy, if you are giving thought to that which you do not want, which is what you will be bringing forth the feeling of unhappiness, then you are attracting more of what you do not want. There is a great value in being happy, because only from the point of being happy you can attract that which you want. But it is also your most natural state of being. If you are not allowing yourself to be happy, you are holding yourself away from who you really are. As you notice that you are, in this moment, happy, take the time to identify what take the time to identify what things are present that may be affecting your happiness. For many of you, it can be listening to the music that is in harmony with you in the moment. For some, it will be the petting their cat, or taking a walk, or making love, or playing with a child. For some, it will be reading a passage in a book. For some, it will be calling a friend who is uplifting. There are many ways of doing it. It is of value to find many touchstones to use to uplift yourself, so that you may always use another approach to bring forth that feeling of happiness. Take notice of that which uplifts you and remember it. And then, when you specifically want to feel uplifted. Use that as a touchstone to your happiness. But what about when those around me are unhappy? Jerry, you have said that we can be happy under almost all conditions. But how can that be accomplished when we are observing someone who is experiencing extremely negative conditions? Abraham, you can be happy only under the condition of giving thought to what you want. And so, you can be happy under all conditions if you are clear enough and strong enough in your wanting to give your attention only to what you want. Jerry, but what if there are those you feel obligated to occasionally be with who do or say things that make you feel very uncomfortable, and yet you still want to try to please them because you feel guilty whenever you don't do or be what they want? How would you suggest we be happy in a situation like that? Abraham, it is true. It is more difficult to remain happy or positive when surrounded by others who are unhappy, or when you are surrounded by or involved with those who want something different from you than you want to give them. But what we have noticed as we have been interacting with physical beings is that while you may have an experience that only lasts 5 or 10 minutes, and while that experience may be unpleasant and uncomfortable, the majority of your negative emotion comes forth not during the minutes of that negative experience, but they come forth in all the hours that you ponder and chew upon it after the experience. Usually, there is much more of your time spent in thought of negative things that has happened than in the actuality of what is happening. The majority of your negative emotion could be eliminated if, in those times when you are alone, you would focus upon what you now want to think about. And then, in those briefer encounters, in those smaller parts of your life experience, where you are actually being harassed, harassed by another, you will grow stronger in your ability to notice the harassment so much. And in time, the law of attraction will not bring you those experiences because those thoughts will no longer be active within you. Happy beautiful day, Tommy. So, can I segment intend around unplanned interruptions? Jerry. So let's take a situation in which people truly want to have a feeling of an orderly progression forward, but their intention are quite often diverted by what I call unplanned interruptions. What sort of segment intention would you suggest in a situation like that? Abraham. Of course, as your segment intending becomes more defined and as you get better at it, you will automatically have far fewer interruptions. You have been encouraging the interruptions because of your lack of segment intending in the past. As you begin your day envisioning free flowing, smooth flowing life experiences, you will have eliminated some of those interruptions already. And for those interruptions that do come forth, you can deal with those segment by segment, simply by saying at the beginning of the interruption, this will be brief, and I will not lose my train of thought. I will not lose the momentum that I have set forth. I will deal with this quickly and efficiently, and I will get on with what I was doing. Could segment intending expand my usable time? Jerry, I said throughout the years, I wish that there was a lot of more of me so I could experience all of the wonderful things that I want to experience. Is there a way that we can use segment intending so we can experience more experiences? That is, so we can do more of the things we want to do. Abraham, you will find as you become efficient with your segment intending that you will have many more hours in your day to do those things you want to do. Many of the things that you won't have not been coming forward to you because you have not given clarity of thought to them and attracted them. And so, segment intending itself will give you that which you are seeking in this question. By being clear about what you want and no longer contradicting it with opposing thoughts, you will enable the laws of the universe to do their work, and you will not feel a need to offer so much action to compensate for inappropriate thought. By offering deliberate thought, you will harness the power of the universe, and it will require far less time for you to accomplish much, much more. Why isn't everyone creating life on purpose? Jerry. Since we each have the choice of creating what we really want on purpose, or creating by default and receiving indiscriminately both the wanted and the unwanted, then why does it seem like the majority of people choose by default? Abraham. Most are creating their experiences by default because they do not understand the laws. They really do not understand that they have those choices. They have come to believe in fate or luck. They say, "This is reality. This is just the way it is." They do not understand that they have control of their experience through their thought. It is like playing a game where they do not know the rules, and soon they grow tired of the game because they believe that they have no control over it. It is of great value for you to give your conscious attention to what you specifically want. Otherwise, you can be swept up by the influence of that which surrounds you. You are bombarded by the stimulation of thought. And so, unless you are setting forth a thought that is important to you, you can be stimulated by another's thought that may or may not be important to you. If you do not know what you want, then it is good for you to set forth the intent. I want to know what I want. I want to know what I want. And as you set forth that desire, you will begin attracting data. You will begin attracting opportunity. You will begin attracting many things to select from. And from the steady parade of ideas that will flow to you, you will get a better idea of what you specifically desire. Because the law of attraction, it is easier to just observe things as they are than it is to choose a different thought. And as people observe things as they are, the law of attraction brings them more of the same. And in time, people come to believe that they do not have control. Many are taught that they are not allowed to choose, that they are not worthy of choice, or that they are not capable of knowing what is appropriate for them to choose. In time and with practice, you will come to understand that you can tell by the way you are feeling the appropriateness of your choice. For when you choose the direction of thought that agrees with your broader perspective, your joy is your confirmation of the appropriateness of your thought. How important to our experience is wanting, Jerry? Now, the person who doesn't even say, I want to know what I want, but just says, as far as I know, I don't want anything, or I've been thought that it is, or I've been thought that it is wrong to have desire, and is in some kind of a flat, listless state. Would you have anything to say to this person? Abraham, is the desire to have no desire in order to achieve a greater state of worthiness, not also a desire? Wanting is the beginning of all deliberate creating. And so, if you refuse to allow yourself to want, then you are really refusing the deliberate control of your life experience. You are physical beings, indeed, but you have a life force, an energy force, a God force, a creative force, and that flows into you from that inner dimension. Your doctors, in all of their notice of it, do not know much about it. They know that some have it and some do not. They will say, this one is dead. He has no life force. Life force flows into creative life force flows into you for the extension outward toward whatever you are giving your attention. In other words, it is the process by which your thoughts brings to you whatever desire you are giving thought to. The more you give thought to that which you desire, the more the law of attraction set those things into motion, and you can feel the momentum of your thoughts when you do not think about what you desire, and when you think about what you want, and then immediately think about the lack of it. You hinder the natural momentum of thought. That flawed listless state you are describing is caused by your constant slowing of the momentum of thought with your contradictory statement. This is so good. Why do must settle for so little? Jerry, Abraham, we live in a nation where almost everyone is able to eat every day and has a place to live and has clothing. Almost everyone at least gets buy in some way. I meet people who say, I have enough to get by, but somehow I can't build up my desires strong enough to bring anything major or special into my life. What would you say to a person in that situation? Abraham, it is not that you do not desire more, but you have somehow convinced yourself that you cannot have more. And so, you want to avoid the disappointment of wanting something and not getting it. It is not because you do not want it that you are not receiving what you want. It is because you are focusing upon the lack of it. And by the law of attraction, you are attracting the subject of your thought, the lack of it. Whenever you want something and then you say, but I have wanted it and I did not get it, now your attention is upon the lack of what you want. And so, by law, you are attracting the lack. Whenever you're thinking about what you want, you're feeling exhilarated, you're feeling excited, and you're feeling positive emotion. But as you're thinking about the lack of what you want, you're feeling negative emotion. You're feeling disappointment. The disappointment that you are feeling is your emotional guidance system saying to you, what you're giving thought to is not what you want. And so, we would say, allow yourself to want a little. Put your thoughts upon what you want. Feel the positive emotion that comes forth from wanting and let the disappointment go away. And in your giving thought to what you want, you will attract it. So good. speak to us about prioritizing our intentions. Jerry, you've given Esther and me a process that we had great results with, and I like it if you would elaborate a little bit on it. It is the process you refer to as prioritizing our intentions. Abraham, although you do not hold all of your intentions at any one point in time, you often have many intentions that do all relate to this point in time. For example, you're interacting with your mate. You want clear communication. You want to uplift yourself. You want to uplift your mate. And you may want to influence your mate to want the same. In other words, you want harmony. It is important for you to identify which intention you want most to fulfill, because as you prioritize, you give your singular attention to what is most important. And as you give it your singular attention, you attract power onto the intention that is most important to you. So let us say that you have begun your day, but you have not clearly identified your segments. You have blundered into the day, as most do, moving from one thing to another, buffeted about by the impulses and desires of others, or by your old habits. The telephone is ringing, the children are asking for this and that, your mate is asking your questions, and you find yourself not clear about anything, but you are moving about it in a day that for most is rather normal. Now, you find yourself involved in a discussion where you have not taken the time to identify what you want. And let us say you find yourself in a disagreement with either your children or your mate or with anyone. It matters not who it is. You feel warning bells coming forth from your inner being. The negative emotion is mounting in you for a number of reasons. You are a little bit mad at yourself for getting into this muddle because you have not intended clearly. But even beyond that, you are upset because you are in disagreement with what the other person is intending, what the other is stating, what the other is wanting. If you catch yourself in that segment and you say, what do I most want right now in this situation? You may recognize that feeling harmony really is your dominant intent. Getting along with your wife or your child or whatever. That is, having a harmonious relationship is far more important than this insignificant issue. And as you recognize that harmony is what you want most, suddenly you are clear. Your negative emotion goes away, and you make a statement such as, wait, let's talk. I don't want to argue, for you are my best friend. I want us to have harmony. I want us to be happy together. And as you make that statement, you will disarm the other. You will remind the other that is the dominant intent of him or her also. And now, from your new and focused, prioritized intention, which is harmony, you may take a fresh view of this less important subject at hand. Here we will give you a statement that, if you will set it forth at the beginning of all segments of your life experience, will serve you very well. As I'm entering this segment of life experience, it is my intent to see that which I want to see. And what that will do when you are interacting with others, it will help you to see that you want harmony, that you want to uplift them, that you want to put across your idea effectively, and that you want to stimulate their desire to one that harmonizes with your desire. That statement will serve you very well. I'm entering this segment of life experience. I read it again. This is very, very good. It is my intent to see that which I want to see. That is so good. Happy beautiful day, Shanetta. So good. Good information. So let's read this last one. This is good. How detailed must my creative intention be? Jerry, as we intend forward motion, how detailed should we be in the ways of or the means? And how specific should we be in the outcome or the manifestations of our intentions? Abraham, you want to be detailed enough in your thought of what you want that you bring forth positive emotion about it, but not so detailed that the thought of what you want brings forth negative emotion. As you vaguely intend something, your thoughts will not be specific enough, and therefore not powerful enough to bring forth the power of the universe. But on the other hand, you can become too specific before you have collected enough data to support your belief. In other words, as you become specific, but it challenges your beliefs about the subject, you may find yourself feeling negative emotion. And so, become specific enough in your intentions that you bring forth positive emotion, but not so specific that you bring forth negative emotion. So that was it for today. So good. So nice. Yeah. So we are soon finished with these books. Well, we are now on page. Tomorrow we start on the page 180, and how much pages do we have left in this book? 12 pages left. So nice. So, oh, this feels good. So happy, beautiful day, Tracy Bartowski. Yeah. Oh, this is good. So love you guys so much, and see you tomorrow.